So I made a video the other day about replacing our judgment of our partner with appreciation, and that appreciation will turn into love, loving energy, and our actions will change towards them and they will reciprocate it. And I was looking at some of the comments, and what kept coming up was questions about communication. And I think that is because we've been programmed to believe that communication is key. And I want to kind of debunk that, because what is key, or the most important thing, is the state of your heart and mind, really. And communication comes out of that. So let me explain. Most of us believe that we are these human beings, and sometimes we are loving and kind and empathetic and compassionate and helpful, and that other times we are frustrated and bitter and angry and resentful and judgmental. And that's not true. There are two different mindsets. There's our true self, or our spiritual being, our divine being, our eternal being that goes on after we drop this body. And that being is loving awareness. It is empathy, compassion, forgiveness, helpfulness, all of it. And then we have another mindset, and that is the egotistical program mind. That is frustrated, bitter, angry, resentful, judgmental. Okay, so there's two distinct, completely different mindsets here. Okay, and this is why, in helping people for over a decade, when somebody comes to me and says, "Hey, can I schedule a couples session?" the first thing I do is say, "Well, I need to meet with you separately, and before we meet all three of us together, because I need to teach them what I just told you. I need to bring an awareness to them that there are two separate mindsets, so that when we come into the session, hopefully they bring that awareness with them, because during the session, guess what? The ego will get triggered. Now, our true self never gets triggered. It's the ego that gets triggered. And that's why we need to pay attention to feelings, the ego's feelings, because feelings lead us to what needs healing. So if they come into a session and both of them are in their true self, their right mind, we're going to have a great session. We're going to accomplish a lot. If they come in and one's in the ego and one's in the true self, it's going to be a difficult session. If they come in and they're both in the ego, it is impossible. I've had those sessions where people walk out screaming and yelling, slamming doors, because they both walked in their ego, ready for a fight. So, communication is not key. What is key is to be in your right heart and your right mind, okay? And then here's a tip for you. When you are trying to communicate with your partner, my husband and I have a coffee date every weekend where we communicate, okay? So I come into it making sure I'm in my true self. I can't control him and make sure he's in his true self. I can only be responsible for me. So we sit down for our little breakfast and coffee date, and I make sure I'm in my true self. Now, during the coffee date, during our communication process, if he was to trigger my ego, I make sure to say, "Hold on." I put my hand on my chest. I literally close my eyes. I pause. I breathe. I take 3 deep breaths. I tap into what I'm feeling. And I may even say to him, "I'm feeling frustrated right now that you said that, and this is what you mean." And it's always not what he meant. It's how my ego interpreted it. And we can discuss that. But what's important is that I stop the second my ego gets triggered. You know when it gets triggered, your heart starts racing, your stomach wrenches, and you just want to lash out. You just slip back into your ego. So you need to pause, breathe, come back to your true self, and then proceed. Do not proceed if you're in ego mode. It will just be a shit show. It will be a fight between two egos triggering egos. It won't work. So again, communication is not key. Being in the right heart and mind is key.